So what are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing? Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, wait, I might have it.
You might have it.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
The opinions expressed during this show are those of the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of their associated organizations or Lifestyle Radio.
You like music, you like weed, well, we gonna be good friends indeed. This is not much I like more than smoking trees. They'll make you dance the do-si-do and teach you how the chiva grows. Smoke a bowl on the 420 radio show. On Lifestyle Radio.
Oh, God, you guys, sucked today.
Radio. It's radio.
It's
Thank
radio.
God for you that you can't see us because Al's sitting in his underwear.
No, I'm not.
I'm completely naked.
I don't know who started that rumor, but we're not sitting in our underwear. Today, all of us, it's the guy show. We're naked.
We're free balling.
We're free balling tonight. Sitting on the couch, scratching.
I said I was naked, so I don't have to add any more.
Please don't.
Free balling it is.
Would you like a picture?
Yeah, I think I could take a selfie. Just a sec.
Turn that video off.
So, we got nothing planned for tonight, but in the interest of continuity, we're here anyways.
Talk about shit.
Yeah, you should be playing that song.
What song?
Because I got high.
I'm not high yet. Give me a minute.
But that's why we got no show.
Give me a minute.
He's working on it.
Yeah, I'm working on it. So, it's been an interesting week. Not really.
It has. It has been an interesting week, actually.
Not
there have
really.
been a few things happen, I think, that we can talk about.
Yeah. Well, just don't talk about anything that Chris has done in the news or he'll get upset with you and he'll break out his whip.
Yeah. Well, we could talk about how people who commit rape on drunk women get let off scot-free, while people who get caught with cannabis go to jail.
Can't talk about that.
Oh, we can't?
No.
That's my first story. You just blew it. Thanks a lot.
It's in the news.
Okay. Well, I was just setting up the story. No details. That's a headline.
Obviously, Ross has an issue with that story. I think we all do.
Okay, what else is in the news that I shouldn't talk about? Date for legal marijuana set?
No, didn't talk about that. I talked about thieving Calgary police officers.
Okay. That's a pretty
more dispensary raids.
Hey,
and,
you know what, Chris?
The fate of the bud tenders that have been getting raided.
Go ahead and do
busted.
it. Go ahead and do your news, and then we'll talk about stuff.
Oh, you just want to do it like that?
Yeah,
just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be.
Give us the news.
Do you want your little thing first, just to make you feel better? Or are you
Whatever
good?
floats your boat.
You go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you got to play the music, man.
All right, here we go. Are you ready? Here we go. Hold on, I got to load it. I'm stalling. All right, we'll be right back.
Welcome to the 420 Radio Show, and this 420 Seconds of Nose is brought to you by Chris Backer.
420 seconds of nose.
What's that?
420 seconds of nose. Try again.
Nose.
Yeah.
Only the nose news. Nose. The Halifax taxi driver has been found not guilty of sexually assaulting a highly intoxicated young woman who was discovered unconscious and half naked in the back seat of his cab in May 2015. Bassam Al-Rawi, 40, stood trial in Halifax Provincial Court over 2 days in early February. Judge Gregory Lenahan delivered a verdict Wednesday, saying that while some of the evidence was concerning and very disturbing, the Crown failed to prove that the woman did not consent to sexual activity. The woman, who was in her 20s, went downtown with friends on the night of May 22nd, 2015. She testified the last thing she remembers is ordering 3 drinks at Boomer's. She does not recall being in the cab nor consenting to sexual activity, and she could not explain why the cab took her to the south end of Halifax, nowhere near her home in Armdale. When the female police officer came upon the cab stopped on Atlantic Street at 1:20 in the morning, the woman was lying across the back seat with her legs spread open over the front bucket seats. Al Rawi was turned around in the seat with his jeans undone. The zipper of the cabbie's fly was partway down, and he was holding the woman's urine-soaked pants and panties, which he tried to stuff between the seat and the console as the police approached the vehicle. But Al Rawi was not touching the woman at that point, the judge said. He therefore was not assaulting her when we know she was unconscious, Lenehan said. The judge said it was logically probable that Al Rawi took the woman's pants off and that in the process of handling the pants, her DNA ended up on his upper lip. Al Rawi chose not to testify at trial. Defense lawyer Luke Craigs, in his closing submissions, conceded that his client's conduct looked suspicious. But that's the absolute most that can be said about it. Police officers can arrest and investigate on suspicion, but this court cannot convict on suspicion, Craigs argued. An RCMP forensic toxicologist testified that alcohol can reduce one's inhibitions and increase risk-taking behavior. This often leads to people agreeing to and sometimes initiating sexual encounters only to regret them later when they are sober, Lenehan said in his decision. The judge said Al Rawi, as a taxi driver, was entrusted with getting the woman home safely. Experienced taxi drivers easily recognize the signs of intoxication, Lenehan said. They also know from experience that drunks can behave in ways that are detrimental to their own health and reputation. Taxi drivers are therefore under a moral obligation not to take advantage of intoxicated people, either by ramping up improper fares or engaging in sexual activity, as two examples. If the woman consented to having her clothes removed, the judge said Al Rawi had an ethical obligation to decline the invitation. She was clearly drunk, he said. If she was unable to provide an address, he should have sought police assistance. Once he saw she had peed her pants, he knew she was quite drunk. He knew that going along with any flirtation on her part involved in him taking advantage of a vulnerable person. That isn't someone I would want my daughter driving with, nor any other young woman, and it is not somebody I would want to hire to drive for my company. But Lenehan said the Crown provided absolutely no evidence on the issue of lack of consent. The judge said the testimony of the toxicologist showed that the complainant might very well have been able to appear lucid despite her level of impairment, and able to direct, ask, agree, or consent to any number of different activities. A lack of memory does not equate to a lack of consent, the judge said. Where the Crown has failed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt her lack of consent, I am left with no alternative but to find Mr. Al Rawi not guilty. Mr. Al Rawi thanked the judge before leaving with his lawyer, and the lawyer did not wish to comment on the verdict. Oh, wow. Sherry Morrison blames herself for her daughter's arrest on drug trafficking charges. Her daughter, Cassandra Morrison, is among 19 Ottawa bud tenders who have been charged in the police raids on illegal cannabis dispensaries over the last 4 months. Sherry Morrison blames herself for her daughter's arrest on the drug trafficking charges. Morrison says her daughter was inspired to become a cannabis activist after she saw firsthand how medical cannabis helped her mom cope with chronic pain. Sherry and Cassandra, along with a handful of others, protested outside the Ottawa courthouse on Wednesday, calling on the federal government to move quickly to legalize recreational pot and stop arresting people on cannabis-related charges in the meantime. 2 other bud tenders arrested in pot shop raids also joined the protest, while another was inside the courthouse making an appearance. I don't know what's going to go on with us, one protester said. A 21-year-old woman who was arrested at a raid at 613 Medicinals on Montreal Road in December. She was working part-time at the shop while finishing high school. I've heard just from people talking that they may drop the charges. I'll probably just get a fine. She said she hopes to go to college next year for horticulture to eventually have a career growing cannabis. I support legalization of marijuana and freedom of choice, she said. Ottawa police have refused to release the names of the 19 people charged in the 11 raids conducted so far, saying would interfere in their drug investigations. And just recently, police in London, Ontario have raided 5 marijuana dispensaries in response to community complaints. Raids began noon on March 2nd, according to police. The search warrants were in relation to possession of controlled substance for the purposes of trafficking, read a statement from the London Police Service. The investigations began a week ago, and the searches the sites are ongoing. And the Calgary police used an undercover sting operation to target one of their own for allegedly stealing seized drugs, court heard on Tuesday. Detective Jeff McQueen testified Constable Robert Cumming was made the subject of an investigation after texts were discovered between the accused and another officer during an unrelated operation. I was asked to look into Constable Cummings' dealings on drug calls, McQueen told Provincial Court Judge Jerry LaGranger. McQueen, a member of the anti-corruption unit, said police eventually launched an undercover sting called Operation Smoke. Cummings, 44, faces charges of theft, possession of cannabis, and the breach of trust in connection with the investigation. On June 3, 2016, McQueen said Cummings was under the watch of members of Strike Force, the Calgary Police Service's mobile surveillance unit. At 9:33 a.m., McQueen was told a backpack containing 2 packages of cannabis had been handed over to Cummings by an undercover officer posing as a regular citizen. That afternoon, Cummings indicated on the computer automated dispatch system that he was going to his residence in Northeast Calgary, although he was supposed to be on patrol in the southwest quadrant of the city. I was already aware that he had been given the backpack with the cannabis in it, McQueen said. It was my belief he was heading home to possibly drop the backpack off. He was told by the undercover officer provided that the backpack had 2 packages of cannabis in it. Surveillance would follow him to see what he did with the backpack. McQueen said that the members of the anti-corruption unit then went to the area surrounding Cummings' home. Before their arrival, the surveillance unit had checked the garbage can behind Cummings' residence. The backpack and drugs were in there, he said, adding that he later looked in the garbage container and observed the same thing himself. After Cummings went off duty at 6 p.m., McQueen and 2 other members of his unit waited at a Tim Hortons restaurant near the accused home. At 9:13 p.m., they were notified Constable Cummings was arriving home. I was advised he attended the rear alley at the garbage can and then drove to the front of the house. Part of the information was that he selected the cannabis out of the garbage can and then drove around to the front, he was told. Uniformed members of the gang suppression unit then did a door knock and arrest Cummings, he said. The officer was then placed in the back of the unmarked car and advised by a detective he was under arrest on the 3 charges. As he was being read his charter rights, McQueen could hear Cummings talking, saying, his life is over, and if you want the drugs, I'll take you there right now. Eventually, 2 packages of cannabis were retrieved from the home after Cummings consented to a warrantless search. McQueen's testimony is being heard in a voir dire, or trial within a trial, over the admissibility of the evidence. Defense lawyer Paul Brunnan will argue the search of Cummings' house violated his charter rights and also his client was a victim of entrapment. The trial continues. That's been your 420 seconds of news. Back to you guys.
Wow.
Wow. That wasn't really good news.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
No.
In fact, the one about the cabbies got me so pissed off. I've got a thing going tomorrow that I organized. It's a candlelight vigil down in the main area where the bars are in Halifax, and we'll be handing out little cards saying "Get home safe" and have some candlelights and see if we can get some people and some awareness going. And it's ridiculous. I can't believe you get to. And it's everybody wants to blame the judge, and I don't think it's the judge's fault. I mean, the Crown completely dropped the ball.
It's totally the Crown's fault, which includes the judge.
No, I mean, but the thing is, the judge can only do what he's given, and I think the Crown had a slam dunk case and mailed in his fucking statement, and that was all that happened.
Because there's something that's been left out here, and that is, I don't know if you guys are aware of this case, RVJA. RVJA was a Supreme Court of Canada ruling in 2011, and I'll just read you a little brief on what it's about. RVJA 2011 SCC 28 is a criminal law decision of the Supreme Court of Canada regarding consent in cases of sexual assault. The court found that a person can only consent to sexual activity if they are conscious throughout that activity. If a person becomes unconscious during the sexual activity, then they legally cannot consent. Whether or not they consented earlier, in addition to the 2 parties, JA and the Attorney General of Ontario, the court heard from 2 interveners and the Women's Legal Education Action Fund. So basically, what they're saying is that if the woman loses consciousness, or man for that matter, loses consciousness during what even they have already consented to, and you then proceed while since they become unconscious, you cannot say that person consented.
But you can't say that that's what happened. There's no way of knowing that's what happened. That's the problem.
There's ample DNA evidence. The guy's got her freaking underwear in his hand, trying to hide them from the cops.
Oh, dude!
Like the evidence is, it's glaring evidence, and there's a Supreme Court ruling that this judge, I guarantee you, didn't even know about. Do you think he knew about that? Why has nobody even mentioned this in this whole thing? Like the articles I'm reading now about this judge throwing this out, there's no mention of the Supreme Court ruling anywhere.
The judges had the same judges had a couple of other scrupulous rulings. I mean, there's an actual petition out to have him reviewed.
I was just going to ask if that's the judge that there's the petition about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's also the judge that was oversaw the Rehtaeh Parsons case.
Where you'll have to tell us about that.
You guys know that one,
No.
And then there was another one about he found against the woman that was breastfeeding, and there was one other one.
Oh God!
Wow!
A father that sexually assaulted his daughter. Yeah, he's had some really bad rulings.
And how has he been with cannabis?
Older, younger?
I don't. Oh, I saw the picture of him. He's an older guy, and I don't know what any of his cannabis-related ones are.
Wow.
I can imagine, though.
It's my uncle, who's gone many years now, was a Supreme Court judge in Toronto, and he tried. A hockey player leaped into the fans and started beating the shit out of a fan with his stick. Anybody remember that one? I don't remember it other than that. I don't know anything else about it. But he tried that, and he got a lot of flack from fans, hockey fans, and stuff like that. And
it's the good old hockey game. It's the best game you can name.
So, Ross.
Yes.
I see. I'm looking at this thing here. It says the date for legal marijuana in Canada has been set by Justin Trudeau. So I'm looking through this article on the Montreal blog, and you know what? I don't see a fucking date.
There is no date set.
Yeah. So
he said here's the article right here. CBC. Just bring it up.
Smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors.
Is it an audio thing?
I saw something that said 6 months.
No. He says
that's what I saw, Chris. I saw that earlier today. I saw 6 months
before his election.
But
in this particular article, he says the legislation will be introduced by the summer.
Yeah, and I've also seen within the next 2 months.
So, well, either way, in the next 2 months or by the summer, when that legislation, well, even if it is, if that legislation is introduced, say in May, in June they go on break for the summer.
Right.
And they don't come back till October, I think it is. Okay, so introducing it in May is absolutely pointless. Nothing will happen until October.
Yeah. Okay.
And then when they look at it in October, they're going to go, oh, well, this is all good. I like this, I like that, blah, blah, blah. Debate.
Okay.
Vote.
Yep.
Okay, we pass it. Now
it has to sit and wait again.
It's Christmas. We're going on Christmas break now, and we're not back till February.
And that's how they'll drag it out for 2 years.
Oh,
yes.
I'm not done yet.
Yes and no.
I'm not done yet. Let me finish.
Smoke and mirrors.
So February comes, and they go, okay, we've approved this. We're sending it to the Senate. And the Senate says, oh, great, we're going to have our go at it now. And the Senate says, oh, well, we like that, and we like this. This is good. Oh, well, I don't know about that, and I don't know about this. Let's tweak this. Let's tweak that. Let's do this. Let's tweak that. So then they send it back over to Parliament. What time of year is it now? Oh, it's about May o'clock now. So before Parliament can have a look at what the Senate has sent back, guess what? It's summer break again. So now we're into the fall of 2018. Okay. So now they're going to look at it in the fall of 2018. They're going to say, okay, the Senate said this, the Senate said that. We're going to do this. We're going to accept that. We're going to, change that one, tweak this. And then we pass it. And by the time they do all of that, what time is it?
You're forgetting that they have
Just before
majority
election.
government. It's not going to go like that. That's the whole thing. They can just.
How's it going to go?
It's a majority. You'd be right if there was other people that could argue against it, but he's going to make it just go through.
Oh no! This is him jamming it through.
That would
What
be
I'm talking about
that's
is
jamming
him,
through
is him
speed.
going unopposed.
No, that's not jamming
Okay.
through speed.
Oh yes, it is.
Yeah, no, yes, it is.
Okay.
Can I just remind
This is jamming
everybody?
it through speed.
I just want to remind everybody, and then you guys can finish this, okay? What we're talking about right now with Trudeau legalization, that's for rec. As far as medical goes, we've got what we've got.
What's that?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
there's stuff needs to be done there.
There's always Ross. There's always going to be stuff that needs to be done. But we've got what we've got, and it will be adapted and changed as we go. But as far as medically goes, in Canada, it's 100%. If you've got a signing doctor, you can get cannabis, you can grow it, you can use it, you can eat it, you can wear it, you can shove it up your fucking ass.
And I've said it before on this show that Canada right now has the most progressive medicinal cannabis program in the world, bar none.
And that's pretty fucking sad, isn't it?
No, well, it's sad for the rest of the world more so than it is.
That's
for
what
us.
I mean.
But even for us, it's not that great. But
Well,
it's the best in the world.
We'll get there.
But when it comes to legalization,
Yeah, but-
and we
but
do have
that's
to
the
keep
key.
those separate.
That's the key there. We've got the best in the world, so how fucking bad off do the other countries?
Well, but we're
Real
going to
bad.
get there, and because we're first, and we don't know if we're going to be first yet. Okay, but
we are first.
We're poised. We're poised to be the first country in the
first
world,
country to have a legal medical marijuana,
and we're
program
poised to be the first country to legalize
for recreational.
for recreational.
We were the first country, but we weren't the first jurisdiction.
Right.
California was the first.
Okay, yeah,
But they weren't that long before us.
and the fucked up thing is,
1999, I think it was. in
and the
California.
fucked up thing is, everybody thought California would be first. That's the fucked up thing.
Yeah.
They
You mean
thought-
first to legalize.
To legalize. They thought that California was going to be first.
Yeah.
They were the ones. They're going for it. They're doing it. Look at all them plants growing up there in the hills. And
Arnold didn't want it.
So if I can just finish the
go ahead, Russ.
legalization. Through all of this breaks and all of the debates and all of the changes, all of the tweaking, we're into the summer break of 28. Like almost to the summer break of 2019, and you know what happens in the fall of 2019, right? The fall of
the new
2019 is an election.
Yeah.
So they're even at their breakneck speed for the government, which is what it is they're doing right now, and they're going to be unopposed. But even unopposed, what I just said is all going to happen, even if it's unopposed.
But
So-
if they use cannabis
Is it-
as a
is it-
platform to win the election again, they will lose.
I agree.
Definitely.
It would be the worst thing they could possibly do, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I certainly wouldn't put it past them.
I think.
But the ad campaigns for the other parties are going to be hilarious
Oh yeah,
because it's going to start with, well, he's already proven to be a liar. Would you want to have a liar in there again?
and they would be justified in saying that.
Exactly.
Yep. So I'm really honestly, I don't think it would be to his benefit, and he's a smart guy. I don't think he's going to make it an election issue in the next election. I think he will get it done probably just in time for the next election, and I think he's looking to benefit from actually getting it done and getting it passed before the election to win him the next election, which means it better not look the way they've been talking about it looking.
Because you ain't going to win the election. with that.
I honestly wish, and I'm saying this with my heart in my hand, that he would come and talk to us on the open fucking, just like, here's what's going to happen. so that we can shut the fuck up and hurry up and wait and get it done already.
Well,
No
But
politician.
it won't happen. I mean, it's funny. We can have a sitting senator from the U.S. come on the show and help a patient, but to get a Canadian politician to come and talk to us.
Well, good luck with that, because
Exactly.
I liked the Justice Department's Facebook page, and they talked. They posted something about Bill Blair now going on another fucking tour across the country to talk to people about legalization.
That's what he's in the middle of it. He's doing it now.
Okay, so as soon as they announced it on the Facebook page, right there, they posted the article or whatever it was.
Yep.
So I put in the comments, I said, as Executive Secretary of the Canadian Therapeutic Cannabis Partners and having absolutely no money whatsoever, how does a person like myself get an appointment to talk to Mr. Blair about legalization during this tour?
Yeah. And your answer was you can't.
You know what I heard back?
You can't.
You got to pay the money.
I heard nothing.
I saw somebody ask the same question in another thread, Ross, and the comments that people were saying was, you can't.
You can't.
If you don't have $1 million and a bit in your bank account, you're not going to get anywhere near the man.
He's talking to mayors and police chiefs.
And he's talking to people like Daryl Dexter.
Well, he was just in London.
Yeah, talking to the mayor and the police chief.
Yeah. And
what's he going to learn from them? I mean, that he doesn't already know.
Well,
what's he going to hear from them that he isn't already mulling over?
It doesn't. You know what? The long and the short of it is we've got a direction, we've got a plan, and now we just have to wait for them to implement it.
Yeah.
And all of this is, like you said, smoke and mirrors, making it look like they're actually searching for answers. If they were searching for answers, every one of us that sit on this show is a patient in Canada. And
we're more than just patients. We're also pretty much all lifelong cannabis
But my
users.
point is, Ross, my point is they're not getting opinions from people like us. And I don't mean use us. Hi, here. I'm saying you should be using people like us, other patients, various ailments. Mental health issues should be checked finally once and for all. Let's find out why this works for some mental health issues and not for others. Well, probably the same reason why it works for some ailments, other health issues and not others. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I know what you mean. And again, we keep separate medical and recreational. A lot of times people start to blur those lines, but to just stay on the legalization side, the recreational side, just for a minute more. Him talking to more police chiefs and more mayors is like just looking for positive affirmation in his own beliefs, right? Like, I mean, he's not learning anything from them. Like you say, he should be talking to people like us. Instead, they only talk to the people that throw them the big lunches, that make the big donations.
If you always search for an issue,
that have their
find
buddies working for them now, who and then mayors and police chiefs and the people who they're legalizing it and giving it to, they don't give a fuck what they think or what they want. They think that they can just do this and everybody's just going to flock to their Cannabis Control Board of Ontario and buy their hermetically sealed cannabis and be just happy as shit in paying $15 per gram.
And most people, Ross, in Canada are happy now. Okay?
Yeah.
So most people that smoke pot that live in the city of Toronto are happy now, because even if they're recreational, they can go into one of how many stores now and buy their cannabis and walk out and go smoke it. Or do their dabs or whatever they want to do. Mark has been very open about it. I think there's a few other stores that are openly selling. I think there's one still in Kensington, is there not?
Yeah.
I mean,
okay, you're talking about a gray market that exists right now, pre-legalization, post-legalization, because what they've said and what he said is that they're legalizing it to get it out of the hands of organized crime and keep it away from children. Are two of the main points. And of course, if they do it the way that I think they're going to do it, they're going to achieve neither one of those.
Right.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Is it still? Are there still bootleggers?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's where I was kind of going with this. Is if they do it the way they're talking about and not trying to cater to the market that they're trying to sell it to, that there's always going to be bootleggers or the black market.
Well, look, cigarettes.
Nothing's going to
look at cigarettes right now. Tobacco. Okay, most people that I know buy their smokes on the res now.
Sure. Okay, well, we'll get into the res in a second. I'm going to go there too, but basically, if they do it this way, then the black market is going to thrive just as much as it always has, which means that if any kid who's 14 years old wants to buy it, they can get it.
But they can
so
do
it achieves
that now.
neither of those goals that they've tried to achieve.
You can do that now, though, Ross. What's the difference?
I know, but here's the difference. The difference is that part of legalization is also that they're going to severely punish anyone who operates out of the regulatory framework.
Well, yeah, the government hates competition.
They do that
Right.
now.
No. They're going to do it worse. Okay, they're going to severely punish you, which means they're going to punish you even more after legalization if you're black market than they do for the black market right now.
Yeah.
Well, they better learn how to not get caught, then, don't they?
Well, I mean, we've been practicing for 50 years. I think we got it down pretty good now. So basically, if the government thinks that they're just going to legalize away the black market by shoving hermetically sealed corporate cannabis through government-run retail outlets, they're just sadly mistaken. They're fooling themselves in the biggest way. And I don't know if they realize it or not. I think they honestly think that people are just going to take this like a muskie or a northern pike going for a spoon. You know?
The long and the short of it is, it's going to happen. Be patient.
I am a patient.
Yeah, it's going to happen. You ain't going to like it.
You're not going to. Yeah, that was my point, Marcel.
And there's their
no
saving
matter
grace
what
is,
happens.
I am a patient, and we do have the best medical.
No
program.
matter what happens, there are going to be a very large part of the community. There's going to be a very large part of other people outside the community that don't like it for whatever reason. But that doesn't matter. You'll learn to live with it, just like we learned to deal with how we buy alcohol, how we buy booze, and where we get our prescriptions.
Well,
post-legalization, after all this, what changes?
Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
The price goes down a little bit.
No,
no,
it
because
doesn't.
they based their pricing on black market pricing when they opened up the LPs because they saw it as a cash cow. Their cost to grow in a commercial application is nowhere justifiable to $8 and $10 and $12 a fucking gram.
Yeah, like 405% markup.
Yeah, or more.
Plus tax.
You know, that's like banking.
Actually,
profits.
it's not even supposed to be taxed because it's prescribed, and anything prescribed is non-taxable in Canada.
But still, if you're not using it as a prescription, then you should pay tax on it. That's what they're going to say.
Well,
for
and then that's
recreation,
fine.
yes.
So recreational should be taxed,
Yes,
sure.
it should be.
But medically, it can't be taxed, and if they're charging tax at the LP, they're breaking the law.
Wow.
So you want to talk about reses for a second?
It's not the first time the government has broken the law.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Little Belleville, the town where if you opened up a dispensary today, like in Peterborough, you'd be shut, or sorry, like in Montreal, you'd be shut down in 24 hours. And then if you reopened it, you'd be shut down again another 24 hours. Well, guess what? You drive 15 or 20 minutes east and you hit the Tyendinaga reservation, the Mohawk reservation. And guess how many dispensaries they have there now?
I bet they probably got one on every corner.
And Tim,
they have 8.
Tim from Legacy 420 just had a meeting with the Chiefs or the band.
Yes, with Chief Markle and the council, and they're all pretty much supportive, and they think it's great, and it's giving jobs to their community, and it is, and the fact that they can have 8 of them now is just great, and they're supported by. But
we're waiting for them to come and open up here in First Nations.
Well, Tim is trying to open up dispensaries on all the First Nations reserves right across Canada.
Can't wait.
He's got, but the thing is, if they can do that, how is that as a precedent for the rest of Canada? Why can they do that there? And if I do it in Belleville, I'm shut down in 24 hours. And I'm not begrudging them. I think it's great. I fully support them.
Because they were here first.
You mean as a people?
As a people. Because because of that, they have been given that right to do what they're doing.
But isn't that I was born here. I'm from here.
Did cannabis go wild here?
They have a piece of paper that says they can do that.
But they have a treaty that says that they can grow or sell cannabis?
Well, just what the rights are, which ones they don't have to.
I think it's awesome that the reserves can do it. I'm just playing devil's advocate here because I know a lot of people would be up in arms about it. But
I fully support the First Nations
legally,
people, the reserves, their right to self-government, and the dispensaries that they have. I fully support it, 100%. Yeah.
I think that the people that aren't going to like it the most, again, are the LPs. But in this case, there's nothing they can do about it.
Do you know what?
Don't make me talk about LPs right now.
No, but I can see LPs going to the reserves and saying, we'll be your supplier.
Hey, Ross.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead and talk about LPs. You don't have to hold your fucking tongue.
I don't.
That's why we have a disclaimer, dude.
Oh, is it a rant?
No, I feel like I've been ranting through the whole show. You guys rant for a while. I'll rant a little bit after the first break.
Okay, let's go for a break. This morning, this group sent me a couple of songs, and they're called, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, Hosni Bronx, and this is New Moment, and it's a reggae tune, and I don't know much about them because I didn't read the stuff they sent me. I was too busy. But here's the song anyways, and we'll be back. This is the 420 Radio Show. We're live. No shit, eh?
Yeah, no shit, eh?
This is Bubbles from the trailer park, and they're playing some fucking excellent music on lifestyleradio.ca. I hope I didn't sound too nervous there.
Please hang up and try again.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
Must People suffering in this old world, they are fooled us. There is no equality. We will never be an inferior race. We'll never be an inferior race. No equality. Stand up for yourself. You see the God in the eyes. Stand up for yourself. For your right. For yourself. For your right. Is he? Señor is now. Señor is he? Señor is now. You make us suffer. Just know we will stand up. We promise you a new revolution. Don't accept this life anymore. The system is rusting. You have no choice in this life. You make people's spirits suffer. The new generation for peace. We want to get you out of your hatred. For our people love each other. Stand up for yourself. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for yourself. For your rights. Señor is he. Señor is now. Señor is he. Señor is now. I am the roots of the tree of the new revolution. From hate to hate and choose retreat. Give me the strength, child living. Oh Lord, why the oppression against my people you have? No humanity, system of evil. Yeah. Oh Lord, we fell into another trap. We need love, not oppression. 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 Oppression. We need love, not oppression. We need love, not oppression. Oppression. I promise a light for my people. I promise a fight for all people. I promise a light for my people. I promise a peace for all people. Oh yeah. Oh Lord. Yeah, yeah.
Right now, we could talk about them. Okay, so I got the bio up, and I think Ross has some information there too.
Because Ross was correcting
Yeah,
everybody.
go ahead and read it.
Know it all.
There, Ross.
No, I don't. I just read the frickin' message.
Well, read it. Read it.
I don't have it in front of me right now.
Oh, okay.
All I saw was what I believe it's Bob Marley's son is their producer.
Okay.
That he did do some work with the band that used to back Bob Marley, the Wailers.
Yes.
And I think he's pretty damn good.
Okay,
I
so
really like that song.
let me
That was
read.
awesome.
I've got the bio in front of me. It's Hosni Bronx. Is a singer, composer, and author. He has recorded 3 albums with the Wailers, Bob Marley's musicians between Kensington, Jamaica, and Paris. His first album, Radical Fighters, Media 7 label, Jammin' Records. His second album, Unite Universal. I don't speak French, but I think that's what it says. And then his third is Rasta Rebel. I like him. Yep.
I like him too.
Yep. Yep.
They're going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
If they haven't already. Well, he said he's already done 3 albums, right?
Yeah. Well, they sent me some tracks, and I said I liked them, so I would play them. So I'm playing them. You know,
that's cool.
It's easy as that. So,
Manny, your word, Al.
While we're talking about it, if you have a band, whatever genre, I don't care, because if I like it, I'll play it. If I don't like it, I won't. It's as simple as that.
And this band is called what again? Now, what's his?
Hosni Bronx is his name.
What's his name again?
Hosni Bronx. And
Hosni Bronx.
Hosni Bronx.
Hosni Bronx.
.com, I believe. Yes. HOSNYBRONX.com.
Hosni Bronx.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And there's some videos.
So go buy their music.
Yeah,
for sure.
And we got another song for them from them, "Strong Life," after we bore some people for a little while.
So what shall we bore people with now?
Well, you know, I'm at a loss for words today because there's been a lot of fuckery and
What?
People need to chill the fuck out.
Oh.
Everybody's up in arms about, this and that, and everybody's raging on everybody else. And
it's funny because yesterday seemed like a real mellow kind of day where everybody was so happy and nice and being pleasant. And then today, you're right. It was like a negative day. You ever notice that there's like positive days and negative days and neutral days?
I saw that at about 8 o'clock this morning, so I shut everything off and I went to bed.
Yeah, that's why I didn't. I bet I didn't spend more than half an hour on Facebook today.
I posted my news this morning, and then I said, "Fuck it, I'm not going to sit here and listen to all these negative people."
No.
Well, I had some positive news on the court support front, if that helps.
Go ahead.
It does.
Well, Travis was in court today for sentencing, and we were privileged enough to have Mr. Kirk Tusaw down to represent him for that. And Travis was charged with production and possession for the purposes of trafficking, and he admitted to trafficking. And after talking his way through it, Kirk got him down to two $200 fines and 6 months probation. So it was an absolute. It was 3 months out that the charges originally started. 3 years ago, sorry, and finally wrapped up today with Kirk getting him 6 months probation.
So that's good. 6 months probation is good.
So, well, he was
not being funny on
license, 300 plants. Yeah, it was great.
Okay, and admit that you're selling it.
And admitting that you were selling it to pay for the power. He was very honest about everything that he was doing and how it was going down and stuff. So, I mean, that was one of the things that they considered when they were sentencing.
Well, I guess that's better than what you normally see, especially down east.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, it was they couldn't even make conditions on it. They can't do house arrest on some of that stuff because of the charges that they are. It was either he was going to go to jail or they were going to have to do the probation. So it was pretty dicey. He was scared. The judge is very cannabis not friendly, so it was all. I put it all into Kirk's argument, his lawyering.
Good old Kirk's lawyer. And so was Jack involved in that at all, or
no?
It was
no,
just Kirk.
Okay. So I mean, I know that nobody seems to be responding. It was an amazing result So yeah, it's very good news.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations.
We have to
him
also
and all
remind
you.
people, Chris, that every time there's a judgment for the good, it reflects on the next person that gets in trouble for that. And then that affects change, right?
Yes,
Absolutely. I mean, it was an important case, and
it creates precedent.
another one
right?
that court support's been behind since the very beginning. And I mean, that's two that they've been no jail time for people that have been growing that didn't have a license.
How many people have been arrested since all this legalization stuff has started?
Oh, more than.
Oh my God, it happens constantly.
More than what was happening with
56,000, I think it was, that I read under Trudeau's watch.
Wow.
So far.
That's
So
too
far.
many.
That
It's
we know
way too
of.
many, but how many were dismissed? Like I know a lot of the dispensary people in Toronto, Vancouver, and out in BC had all their charges dismissed, right? So
yeah,
I'd say anywhere between 1 and 5 people every single day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Out here.
And how often are you going to court?
Not that often.
No.
But I mean, I get down there, I put brochures out and stuff, and they get passed out. We stand in front of the courthouse sometimes. Not everybody avails themselves of the services that are out there, right?
Some people just want to go in, get it done with, get it taken care of, and walk away.
Yeah, sometimes you try and talk to people, and they don't want to talk to you at all. I can't force anything on anybody. I just can offer them an option, that's all.
You have to just, you can give them the information, and then they have to. It's one of the reasons why I like being a devil's advocate, is because you give people the information. If you give them all the information, they can make an informed judgment.
let me be devil's advocate for a second here and just ask you: is being a devil's advocate always the best thing to do?
No, but it is if you
realize the twist in that.
Yeah, but if you want to show want a good way to show a point, being a devil's advocate can show both sides of an argument.
And it doesn't mean that you're pro what you're saying.
Correct.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why I like you guys, because you'll
we don't have to agree with it, but we can show why.
We all have a difference of opinion in something.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do.
I think you're all nuts. So.
And I think you're a
you know
prick.
what? We all agree with you on this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing that one at all.
Not at all. But just if I can play devil's advocate on that one a little bit too, Chris, aren't you crazy too?
Pretty much leading the pack.
And is it true that you have a cot in the janitor's closet at the court?
He sleeps
I'm not
over.
allowed to
I heard
say.
that somewhere.
He's like Al Shapiro.
He just appears. Somebody said, cannabis.
He's the
Here I am.
ambulance chaser.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's just nice to be there when you see it work out for people. It's
Yeah, it
You know
sucks
what?
when it doesn't work out, though.
Yes, it does. And you know what really sucks is when somebody like yourself is out there helping people, and then they get into trouble, and nobody shows up for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That really sucks.
Yeah.
that's inexcusable.
Harsh. That's harsh.
I think we can all agree on
But
that.
it happens all the time.
does, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we had good support. There was about a dozen people in the courtroom there from the court support team, the show support from Pharmacist and Maritimes United for Medical Marijuana. We've been following Travis the whole way along, making sure that the crappy legal aid lawyers that he was getting aren't the ones that he kept, because they were steering him down he was going to do jail time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's happened with all the pharmacist stuff?
That'll be Kirk again. He's coming down to assist in that, but that won't be till next year sometime.
So Chris is still pending.
Yes, it's
But
ongoing.
Some of it was dropped, though, right?
So it wasn't dropped; it was combined.
Ah, fuckers.
Well, no, he wanted it combined.
Oh, okay.
It's 3 raids altogether, right? Yeah. So
I get you.
So instead of doing 3 separate trials, he can have it all taken care of in one trial.
Now
he's trying to do that, but one's in Halifax, so 2 are in Dartmouth, or the other way around, and trying to get them both in the same place is not. They don't want to relinquish control. By one judge giving it up, it's like saying he can't do it or some shit. I don't know.
Wow. Really? Now we're gonna play those games, are we?
Apparently.
Oh, fuck. Like, do these people have even acknowledged the good that Chris and Jess and pharmacists do?
No.
No? Nobody has anybody ever acknowledged the good?
No,
he's had the big stream of character witnesses, yeah.
But that's not helping.
No, well, because it hasn't actually gone to trial yet.
Oh, okay. I get you.
It's all voir dire stuff.
It's all emotions.
Well, I'll save my anger and aggression for later on down the road then.
I mean, it was several motions.
No, you can go ahead and lose it right now, Al.
No, I no. I mean,
there were several motions, Al, that just to try and combine these. So that those are court appearances, but nothing to do with the actual trial and what's going to happen.
Wow. Jess was doing the show with me here during the first one. No, second one, I think it was. And
first one.
Was it the first one?
Yeah, quarters late.
And so I got to watch that what that does to a person firsthand.
Yeah.
And they really do continue, even though they're going through their own personal torture brought on by the Canadian government and the police for helping people. They continue to do it. And if they got raided or busted tomorrow, they would continue to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why Chris Enns is a big a staple in the community. People respect that.
But that they seem to like to pick on sick people.
Yep.
Well, because I mean, think about it. If you're a cop, the worst call you want to hear over your radio is that there's domestic violence, because those are the most volatile, because you never know which way it's going to go. Yeah. The favorite one for them is to go after
smoking
a
pot.
cannabis user, because guess what? They're high, they're stoned, they're lazy, they don't really give a fuck.
If I'm medicating and a cop comes near me, I sit down.
They're going to cooperate.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let you railroad them any way you want.
It's an easy way to spend your next couple hours while your buddies have to go to that domestic violence, and while you're arresting the husband, the wife stabs you from behind.
Yeah, after he assaulted her, right?
Yeah, but that's the biggest fear that they have is the domestic violence.
Or going to the traffic accident where people died because of a drunk driver.
You know what?
Yeah.
Beginning of the summer, either last year or the year before, I was sitting outside with another tenant in the building, just sitting there chatting at, I think I've told this story before, about 10:30, 11 o'clock. But 11:30, the cops rolled up. And we were like, "What are you looking for? Somebody?" He says, "Yeah, we've had a complaint. 2 guys sitting on a bench."
Sounds ominous.
We were 2 large men sitting on a bench, staring at the stars, smoking doobies, bothering people. Yeah. Oh, look at those stars, man! Look at that. That's fucking awesome. Oh, there's
You're lucky
one.
you didn't get your ass kicked by the cops.
So when I walked up to the car, he was sitting in the car. He said, "What's your name?" I said, "Well, I don't need to give you that, man. I live here." And I turned around and I walked away and I sat down, and he instantly into park. Tough guy comes out, belt goes up a little bit as he's walking towards me. I sat down. I went, "Dude, chill out. I'm just sitting here having a smoke with my buddy who lives upstairs." "Who's he? What's his name?" I said, "You'll have to ask him that."
So he actually did the belt thing where he
he
grabbed
did the
it
belt thing.
and hiked his pants up and wiggled it back and forth like
And
Barney Fife. Anybody remember Barney Fife?
Within 5 minutes of him getting out of the car. Now,
One bullet,
this
right?
is a complaint of two men sitting on a bench. Okay. Within 5 minutes of him getting out of the car, another guy rolled up. And then shortly thereafter, another. We had three
I need
cops
backup.
here.
We got two stone guys.
Three cops
lazing on
here
the
for
bench.
two stoners sitting on a park bench on the property where they rent.
Yeah, where they live.
Oh, those dirty renters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I noticed a post today by somebody. I don't know if I should mention names or not, but one of the better known female. I'll call her an activist / advocate. I'm not sure, which side she rides on. But apparently she got pulled over a few days ago and had some cannabis confiscated by the police. Then a couple of days after it was confiscated, she was informed that she was being charged, and she was formally charged. And the whole time she is signed up with an LP and has a license to buy from an LP, and therefore can possess, but she didn't have the bottle or the card with her at the time.
So they'll make her go through the court system and walk in with a letter and waste thousands of dollars and people's time and stressing her out and her family.
Yeah. But no, I will kind of cut to the chase and say that they did eventually drop everything. So that's why she posted it today, was to say that she's been through this over the last few days. She hasn't said anything about it, but today they dropped it. But this is what she went through. Wow. And you know why? And the cop, is telling her how he's supposed to handle it, and he has no clue. He's thinking along the lines of, I'm supposed to call Health Canada and find out if she's registered with Health Canada. Well, you only call Health Canada and ask them about registrations if it's for personal production. If you are with a licensed producer, you're supposed to call the cops are supposed to call the licensed producer.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a complete registry and all that information at their fingertips at Health Canada. So when they called, there was, he said, "Oh, I got to call Health Canada and I've got to check and see if you're registered." So he calls, and of course they don't have that information, at their fingertips, because they only have personal production people.
Yeah.
So, that hence they took her stuff. And then 2 days later they charge her, and then finally she produces proof that she's indeed licensed and has all the proper paperwork and it's all active. And then it's when they drop the charges. But why should she have to go through all of that? Why doesn't this cop know the process? Okay, why does he think he knows? And he actually shut her down, told her to shut up. He knew what he was doing, and he called Health Canada.
You seriously asking why?
Well, I guess it's a rhetorical question.
You're asking why would a cop do all of that and not know his job? When
it's rhetorical. We know the answer. Okay, we know the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no IQ test for when you apply to be a cop. In fact, if there was, they wouldn't hire all the people who scored high.
If you actually, on your entrance thing, if you score too high, you don't get the job.
Exactly. So
if you can think for yourself, you're not in an ideal position to be a police officer.
You're not law enforcement material if you're a free thinker.
Yeah. If you're great at taking direction and following orders, man, have they got a job for you?
Yes,
sir. No, thank you.
And then you wonder why you have PTSD after a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for someone like myself, I can see why it would be that way. Because I actually took criminology in college. I wanted to be a detective, not just any detective. I wanted to be a homicide detective. I wanted to catch murderers.
Sherlock
and I wanted to send murderers to jail. That was what I wanted to do. So I took criminology. And as I started going through the classes, half the class were active duty police officers, and this is in Florida. So needless to say, these were some of the biggest rednecks you ever knew. Here's me sitting in the classroom, 19 years old with hair halfway down my back and them all scowling at me, right? So, after going through that for a year or two and getting to know what kind of people these were, I started doing some critical thinking about it. And even though if I had gone through my 4 years of college, got my degree in criminology, went and got hired by a police force, I would still have to go through the ladder. I would have to probably start as a cop on the beat.
Yep.
I would then maybe make sergeant, then maybe I'd make, then maybe I'd get to be a detective, and then maybe I'd get to be on homicide. Okay. And it started to occur to me that through that whole chain of events that would lead up to what I wanted to be, I would have to do a bunch of stuff that I couldn't live with. Yeah. I couldn't go out. I couldn't arrest people for cannabis and send them to jail. I couldn't live with myself. I couldn't compromise my principles, and that's why I never went into law enforcement, because I couldn't compromise my principles. And I thought most of the people that I met who were in law enforcement were redneck assholes and couldn't think for themselves and only had one thing in mind, was that they had the power and you don't.
I worked summers for my mom's boyfriend, Larry, who was a lawyer. And I used to go and do title searches and present stuff in courtrooms because he couldn't be there. And you learn a lot very quickly. I was 16, 17 years old, I guess. Yep.
And it's not all good.
No, it wasn't. I mean, most of the time I'm sitting there listening to these court proceedings while I'm, driving him around. And you take it all in, and although I can't remember any of them now, but I mean, I'm sure there was some, not so good situations.
Yeah.
Oh, I think anybody having to go to court is not a good situation for them. So
exactly. You have to, when you're there every day, like Chris will tell you, you do have to, even though I know you care about each person that you help, Chris, you do have to distance yourself. You have to separate yourself at some point, right?
I've never been able to figure out how to do that. So
really,
no.
Somebody's got to work on.
Something you got to work on, buddy.
Well, you know what? I can understand where Chris is coming from, because I mean,
it is hard.
You invest yourself into this cause, and you want the best outcome. And when you don't get the best outcome all the time, that you kind of internalize it, right, Chris? And you take it kind of personally, and
well, it could be me.
Yeah, it could be you.
The unfortunate,
but you feel for that person on
exactly.
With an understanding that only you or someone like you could have.
And unfortunately, it's happening over and over again.
It is.
Right.
And it's going to continue to happen, as we discussed earlier. It's going to continue to happen after it's legalized.
It's creating a lot of angry people, and it's creating a lot of angry people that used to be helpers. And
resentful people.
Yeah, that's where I was going. Yeah.
There was a lady here in Dartmouth in a wheelchair. She took one of the paths, and she got beat up by two teenagers with a baseball bat for her week. And she wouldn't go to the police. Right? People that knew her a week later realized what had happened, and they told people for her, but she didn't go to the police because she didn't want more problems.
Yeah.
She just got beat up. She'd had enough.
And that's what's happening with even dispensaries.
Yeah, and you know what? And we're
not
lucky.
Calling cops.
We're lucky enough to live in Canada.
Are we?
Yeah.
Things are worse in other countries. Like,
let's pause and sing the national anthem.
Could you imagine living in, let's say, Oklahoma?
Does anybody know it?
No,
I don't know it anymore. The national
Oklahoma
anthem
is the worst. I mean, they have cops who sit at the Oklahoma-Colorado border waiting for people to come into Oklahoma from Colorado, and they pull them over one after the other, after the other. And then these people, when they get caught with their half ounce or ounce of good Colorado cannabis, they're not just facing a fine or, maybe some probation like we might hear. They're going to jail, and they're going to jail for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, there's people in the States that are in jail for having a pipe that they've never used.
Yeah. There's Canadians in jail right now in the United States for cannabis crimes, doing life. Canadians. and nobody advocates for them. Okay, well, our government doesn't go to the U.S. government and say, like they did with Mark Emery, who was high profile, and say, hey, why don't you send him back up here, let him serve his time out here, and then surreptitiously 3-4 years later let him go.
How much did the Canadian government really have to do with that? That was his lawyers up here pushing.
When the Crown was talking about Travis today, they said that Travis could face a maximum on all of his charges from anywhere between 14 years to life.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what he was maximum could have gotten. Now, his first offense, it shouldn't have been that bad. But
where was that, Chris?
That was in Pictou.
Pictou. Oh, I thought you were talking about Oklahoma.
No.
Okay, Pictou.
That was the trial here.
For what? It's all kind of.
What was the charge?
That was the guy for growing.
Oh, that was the
almost 300 plants. Yeah.
There. Okay.
So he really could have faced that much time.
That's what the Crown was saying. 14 years to life,
minimum.
Wow.
For how many?
Remember the mandatory minimums that haven't been shut down in the province yet?
What's that?
Do you remember the mandatory minimums that haven't been shut down in this province yet?
Yeah.
I thought they were shot down federal, like across the country.
Those are only provincial judges that have been doing that.
But the thing is, his charges came down before the implementation of the mandatory minimums.
Oh, then he was all right then anyways.
No,
he was.
You mean before they abolished the mandatory minimums?
They never really abolished them.
Well,
it was 3 years ago, so it would have been.
They just don't have any judges that'll enforce them.
Yeah. I just can't imagine anybody doing life for any kind of cannabis crime. I don't care if it was taking 1 pound packages of cannabis and cramming them up of, I don't know, people's butts and you shouldn't be going to, like cannabis, you shouldn't be going to jail for it all, but for life in Canada.
When I see cannabis patients being arrested in the United States, the name that I keep seeing up on Facebook is always Adela Falk. Okay, and she's one of the advocates for patients out there. She's advocating for people like Natalie DePriest and just countless others. And she's writing letters and contacting the parole board. And I've of all the people, there's somebody we should see if we can get on the show, because I'll tell you, a more active member for patients and just people being charged with cannabis offenses is Adela Falk. I don't know. You guys follow her at all?
No, haven't. Nope, it's the first I've heard of her.
Well, no, you got to. I think one of the websites is Human Solutions or something. I can't remember. There's nothing like it here. It's mostly in the States, where they keep track of what patients, what people are charged with, and what prisons they're in. I've tried to get that information from prisons here, but they won't give you that information. If I wanted to start writing letters to people at the correctional center, they would give me numbers to people in Ontario or other parts of the province, or prisoners from the prisons elsewhere. So I couldn't develop a relationship that could wind up with people doing illegal things, right?
Do you guys know about the 5 raids?
In London, yeah.
Yeah. Tasty Buds, Chronic Hub, Alternative Health, and 2 of the Healing Health locations. You
don't even listen to me when I read my news, do you?
Well, you know what?
It really hurts.
I'm sorry.
I know, it must hurt awful, Chris.
I just saw the article, and it was like, well,
Chris did it on the news.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
You suck.
There you go. Well, I was just posting it is what I was doing. So, yeah.
Oh God, they're just ratting yourself out about how well you listen to others.
Dude, have you not been listening to for the last fucking 9 years? I have ADHD, you putz.
Who said that? There's some guy here talking about ADHD. Who the hell is that?
Yeah,
exactly.
I forgot.
What was he talking about again?
Oh, look, a butterfly.
How do you spell that?
Exactly. I just didn't want to miss the opportunity to talk about such a fine article.
Yeah,
Hey,
how's that working out for you?
Anybody want to talk about the landlord who lost his insurance because of a medical marijuana grow op in his apartment? Don't you love that term for a medical marijuana grow? A grow op. So he lost his insurance and he's paid a high price, and it's the article's just it's just a terrible thing that this medical marijuana grower has done in this poor landlord's building. You know what? Here's something that this landlord and everybody else in all of Canada needs to know. There's an insurance company. It's just a small little insurance company.
Yeah, it's just really small.
Just a little
guy.
What's their name? Lloyd's of London.
Lloyd's of London.
I know nobody's heard of Lloyd's of London before. But they are offering cannabis insurance right here in Canada right now. It's available to any insurance broker in Canada right now. So any insurance broker can go to Lloyd's of London and get you a rider for a medical marijuana grow starting at about $100 a month.
Whoop, whoop.
So, why do these stories come out and all of this hoopla and drama when there's a perfectly good answer just staring all of these supposedly knowledgeable, respectable journalists and people, right in the face, and they just ignore these facts and go ahead and sensationalize it like
you gave yourself the answer
this
though, Ross.
Dastardly medical marijuana grower has completely ruined this poor, innocent, helpless, kind landlord.
Dum. Yeah, drama.
Really?
Drama.
Growing their devil's lettuce.
Devil's lettuce
in the poor, unknowing, unwitting landlord's tenement.
You know what?
It's
Health
just
Canada.
Like how in
Health
court,
Canada.
how they talk about how they're protecting the neighborhood, the community from the
Health Canada
grow-op.
has even said to you, Ross, that you do not have to notify your landlord.
No, you don't.
If it is your primary residence.
And when you're a renter,
that's why that guy's all upset, is because he found out that legally they don't have to tell him. Yes. So that just pissed him off even more.
That's probably got a lot more to do with it than anything else, right there.
Yep, right there is it exactly.
And the whole sensationalization of it has got more to do with that than anything else too. Because, like I said, if you know a broker, an insurance broker, and all you got to do is go to the Yellow Pages or Google or anywhere like that, and you can find an insurance broker that probably lives in the house right next door to you, who can get a rider from Lloyd's of London to get you insurance for your cannabis.
Now let's broaden this conversation a little bit. And say I walk into my insurance company and I say, I just heard that Lloyd of London's will give me a rider for my garden. What kind of garden, you ask? Well, I'm a legal cannabis patient.
Right.
Oh, really? Well, let's look at your insurance for your car as well, sir. What happens then?
Yeah,
You're
but there's two different ways
to your insurance company.
Like if you're dealing directly with, say, Allstate.
Yeah.
Okay, you've gone directly to Allstate and you've bought your insurance from Allstate. You're tied to Allstate, and Allstate doesn't offer insurance for medical marijuana grows.
That's right.
And if you say, I want a rider from another insurance company for medical marijuana, they're going to say, well, I'm sorry, you're out of luck. We can, because they're Allstate. They're not Lloyd's of London.
That's right.
That's why you need a broker, because brokers aren't tied
So
to
if you go down to your
insurance company,
your local downtown insurance broker that deals with a lot of different insurance companies, he can get you a package deal to give you your house, your car, your grow, and everything.
That's what I do. I go to a broker. I
Yeah.
go to and one thing better.
I mean,
one thing
as
I will
slimy as insurance salesmen are, I mean, because you got to admit they have the reputation, and I can say it because I did do it at one time. They are slimy.
Oh, my level of respect for you just fell.
Well, yeah, but you know what? You know one thing that I
when I
like
can say
dealing
former,
with, I like dealing with
former
small time
person,
brokers.
that means I saw the light and realized
Okay,
that this is really ripping off a lot of fucking people.
Tell me you didn't sell used cars too. Okay, just tell me you didn't.
No, never.
Okay, all right.
No. What I learned quickly was that while I didn't make any money selling the insurance, I always tried to show people that it would be better to buy term insurance instead of whole life insurance.
And you knew that wasn't true.
No, I know that's true.
Oh, you know that. Oh, sorry, I had it reversed.
whole life insurance is the one that rips you off. If they're selling you a whole life policy, you know, that retire at 55 or whatever bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You would make way more money by buying a term life insurance, which is the same as buying car or house insurance, and invest that difference in money into a mutual fund.
Yep. See, you should have been a financial planner. Is what you do. That's your real calling in life.
That's part of what I did.
Ah.
But I didn't like it.
Who would?
Because, well, I mean, you're working in an industry that's pushing whole life, right?
Yeah.
So it's not fair to the consumer because the consumer just thinks, oh, well, I need insurance and this is the insurance and this is good price and I'll have $100,000 when I retire. Well, I can show you how you could have $400,000 when you retire.
And not buy insurance.
Well, you can still buy life insurance, but buy term insurance.
Yeah.
Right? The same as your car. You buy car insurance every year, buy your health insurance or your life insurance every year.
So I guess, are there life insurance brokers just like there would be any other insurance brokers?
Yep.
Okay. So you were a broker or did you work
MetLife.
for a company?
No, I worked for a company, but there
Mutual of Omaha.
You're in good hands. with
Sun
those-
Life. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the kind of guy that like to learn everything. I mean everything. So I'd go and I'd take the insurance broker course or the insurance licensing course and sell life insurance for a while and say, yeah, this really sucks, but now I know how it works.
So you know everything?
He knows.
I try to.
You know those little bugs that live in your eyebrows? How
Yeah.
do you get rid of them?
You can't. Don't.
He really does know everything.
All right, we're going.
They're there for
another
a fucking
commercial.
reason, man. Don't get rid of them. They're keeping you alive.
So you mean combing them with bleach? That isn't good?
Pardon me?
Combing my eyebrows with bleach is not good.
And actually, they're not in your eyebrows. They're in your eyelashes.
They're in your eyebrows too, apparently.
Yeah,
So
but
you
Me
don't
out,
know.
you guys. You're grossing me out. You're grossing
I know
me
it
out
is
now.
gross, but if you knew some of the things that lived on your body, you would be totally
Yeah.
grossed out.
Okay.
Oh,
On
yeah.
that note, we're out of here for about 5 minutes because I got another song.
Okay.
Strong Life. It's called.
Nap time.
Yeah, nap time. Yeah. This is Hosni Bronx. Is that what?
Hosni Bronx.
Hosni Bronx.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. We'll be right back. What was that? Gesundheit.
Man, have you been to Canadays yet? Canadays, Campbellford's premier cannabis culture shop at 19 Bridge Street West. They've got bongs, oil rigs, grinders, and papers. Everything you need for consumption. They've got seeds, soil, nutrients, and dome trays too. Everything you need for cultivation. Get top quality seeds from top suppliers like Canuck, Crop King, and wholesaler Nexus. Canadays. They've got all kinds of awesome cannabis novelties, clothing, and apparel. I know, right? It's a lot more than just a bong shop. Interested in gaining legal access? Canadays can help. They're a PACE information center. You know, people advocating cannabis education. Come by the shop and check it out. 19 Bridge Street West, Campbellford. Canadays. Have your say without saying a word. Canadays.ca.
Please hang up and try again.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
I'll give you guys a website address.
Okay, it's not Pornhub.com, is it?
No, you obviously know that one already.
Oh, wait, is there a real website called that?
Yeah, way to ruin it.
.com.
Is that the name? Waytoruinit.com?
No, emeraldgarden.ca.
Emeraldgarden.ca. That's a long one. Okay. It's not as long as Canadian Therapeutic Cannabis Partners.com, but
so
okay.
Do you think that maybe?
What?
Do you think maybe that we should continue what we were doing? Because you guys been sitting here.
Yeah.
.ca is not working for some reason.
So emeraldgarden.ca.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Why? What are you talking about that? We are on the air, by the way.
Adults only. It is a damn porn site.
It's a porn site. We've been surfing porn sites during the commercial break.
Adults only 19 and over. Oh, wow, that's a sexy looking. Ooh, that's a sexy looking babe too. Look at
Ross,
that hairs on that.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
you realize we're on the air, right? We're doing a show, and Ross is surfing porn.
Such rigid fingers.
There you go.
Beautiful hair.
Did you say we're back online?
We're not online.
We're not
on. Are we on the air?
Let's see. About I don't know.
Okay, let me explain.
Minute and a half.
I'm on a special kind of website. It's a very special kind of website, and it's called
We're
Emerald
not on
Garden.
air.
Yes, we are.
We're not.
Sure, we are.
Oh,
we have been for a minute and 40 seconds.
5-minute song.
Well, it lied. You guys were yapping away, and it just
Okay. Well, we yap the same off air as we do on air.
That's
so
right.
We really don't. We could just keep going. We'll just continue.
Well,
Emerald Garden. I was advised to go to a website called emeraldgarden.ca, and I gotta admit, I'm seeing some very nice pictures of some very nice buds. So, is there anything else you have to say about this particular website?
No, I was just showing you.
Okay.
New website.
Like I said, they got caught.
I do notice that
they got caught surfing porn on a break.
There's a lot of cool products
we
there.
came back.
I noticed that there's some really nice massage oil and some topical cream.
Really?
Yeah, awesome. Apparently it's made by Canna Cream from Medicated Cream. Is that from Canna Bliss?
Very must be.
Oh wow.
Huh. Now this must be a very high tech company.
Very. Yeah, very.
It's all over the website, you stupid dolt.
But there's also, a sucker's born every minute, and they have a whole bunch of them.
But you know what? You
there.
just broke the law.
Who did?
Ross did.
How?
Why?
Because.
How so?
Just because.
Why would you break the law, Al?
Are you going to call the cops on me?
Al has to leave and come back again because we've got the chipmunk, and now it's recorded. Keep talking, Al. Keep talking.
What is that?
That's Al.
Al Graham?
Yeah.
That's Al Graham?
That was Al Graham, yeah.
There he is. I see him.
I'm back.
You're sounding much less chipper now.
Now we've recorded it, Al, so you'll be able to hear what happens. Okay, so we were talking about next week, and I don't really know what's happening. So why don't you tell people?
Oh, as far as next Friday.
He's forgotten.
Yeah,
He's
Friday.
forgotten already.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. It's the grand opening for Canada Days. We'll be there all day. As far as the radio show, we'll probably slide in and out. We get a guest to speak to. We'll bring them onto the radio. Update everybody what's going on there throughout the day. I'm looking at maybe getting some guests lined up that we could connect to, that could talk about the history of cannabis and things like that, so the people that are in the store will be able to hear everything, as well as the listeners.
Cool. And then we're going to be doing our show after.
Yeah, and Ross is going to be there. He's going to be there with the Canadian Cannabis Therapeutic Partners, and they'll be talking to people about getting legal licenses.
He already just told everybody just now. You don't have to go now, Ross.
Yeah, you didn't have to give him up.
I was listening right up to about 5 minutes ago when I came out of one room and headed into a room to watch TV. Wife's time, Come on now, Mary.
You're going to bail on us, is what you're saying.
He can only stay a minute to promote what's happening next Friday.
No. I made my way up here. We're good. We're good.
Looking forward to it, Al. It should be a fun day.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun day. The dignitaries have all been invited by the Chamber of Commerce. Wayne is a member there with the chamber, so they informed him that the dignitaries, the MP, MPP, and the mayor would all be invited.
Cool. So can I or can I not swear while they're there?
Well, I guess it just depends on how things are, I guess, eh?
Okay. Because I had like today I had a bad day. So hopefully next Friday I won't have another bad day because I've done a lot of swearing.
No, you have a good because it switches every other Friday.
Okay, so next Friday will be good
Friday, bad day Friday.
Gotcha. Next Friday will be Good Friday.
Friday, that's right. Yeah. It's a little bit before Good Friday, but
we'll take it.
We'll take it. But it's something that Wayne's been looking forward to for a long time. So it's good to see. He started out just selling flags,
Yeah. They definitely come a long way. I mean, flags to what buttons and what else? What else does Wayne sell there?
Whoa, bongs, pipes, your papers. He's got growing equipment.
Got seeds.
He's got e-juice stuff. He's got novelty items, grinders. He's got some, when it comes to some of these smaller pipes, he's got some things that maybe you haven't seen in a while. And that's like things like the credit card pipe. You ever seen a credit card pipe?
Yeah, I thought that was cool. There's also
they're really, really thin, the size of a credit card.
They've got a credit card. Have you seen the credit card grinder?
No.
Yeah, it's the size of a credit card, fits right in your wallet, and it's got these slots in it that are really sharp. And you just rub your bud on it, and it comes out.
It's like a cinnamon grinder or a nut grinder. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah,
it's a nut grinder.
Crop King's giving them out.
Are they?
They're actually pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them.
Cool. I'd love to see. I've seen pictures. I've not tried one. I hear they're really good though. It's just
I've never
a grater.
tried it,
all it is it's a grater on the side, on that's cut into a card. That's all.
Well, my index finger and thumb are about half an inch shorter now, but other than that,
that was great.
You smoking your fingers and thumb?
Well, I thought it tasted funny, but
they assured me this was the right way to do it.
It was the blood that kept the joint, from staying lit.
Do you know what we should do? We should start a new campaign where we start getting all the new patients signed with Health Canada to start calling Health Canada on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah.
Fine. Well, what's the best way that I should use this?
It's already happening, Marcel. Deb spent 2 hours on hold with Health Canada waiting to talk to somebody. When was it? Tuesday, I think.
Then got hung up on?
Yeah, I was there.
No, were you there? Yeah. 2 hours on
hold. I was there, yeah.
Did she wait it out?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
the phone just kept on going. You could just hear the message being repeated.
And she got the confirmation that if you're applying for personal production, and you've been charged with possession or trafficking while under the MMAR or ACMPR, you are out. You can't apply anymore. But if you were charged with either of those, not being under the program, just as an ordinary citizen, it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I knew that part.
Wow.
Well, most people were under the
That
misconception
doesn't seem right.
that it didn't matter whether you were under the program or not under the program, that if you were charged with trafficking or importing, you were out. You couldn't apply. But that's only true if it happened while you were under the MMAR or under the ACMPR.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she was just trying to clarify that. But yeah, 2 hours on hold.
Yeah, that's the way it's actually worded, is that you had to be...
But it is kind of confusing because there's two parts to it. There's a designated cannabis offense and a designated marijuana offense.
Marijuana is illegal. Cannabis is medical.
No. That's not what it had to do with. A designated marijuana offense is one that you committed while under the MMAR. A designated cannabis offense is one that you committed while under the ACMPR.
Oh, Jesus. Are you serious?
Serious as a heart attack. And if you weren't under either of those programs and you imported or trafficked, it's okay.
Then you go to hell.
No, you're not. You're not going to hell. You only go to hell if you were a medical patient at the time. Let's use an example of a lady who lives in British Columbia who was helping out other patients while under the MMAR by sending candy to people, and the RCMP got a hold of it. You know, like, does that person deserve to be banned from the program because they were helping other patients?
Smith ruling?
No, but they should send all their candy to me at happyguy.com.
Happy dude. No, actually, I think it was, well,
before the Smith ruling, wasn't it?
I think it was before the Smith ruling, or right around that time. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if the Smith ruling applied at that point or not. Probably not. But in any case, you know, like, really, should she be banned from the program? Now, if she had not been under the program and sent that candy and got caught, she'd be fine.
Was she convicted?
Yes. No, she pled guilty.
Oh, even worse.
I know. And she knows too now. You know, but at the time when it happens to you, and Chris, you can attest to this, they put you under all kinds of pressure to try to get you to plead guilty.
Oh, of course,
right? Because it's so much easier for them to.
Well, it's a win.
Yeah. So they threaten you with up to 14 years to life in jail if you don't plead to the lesser charge.
Yeah.
Now, wasn't there a provision that you can get get that overruled by a judge? Like if you're in the middle of being charged, you could have asked that as one of your conditions so that you would be able to still remain in the program.
Yeah, I don't think that a judge can grant you that exemption from the program. It's basically Health Canada and the regulations that say that you're banned.
Yeah.
I thought the line was, or is exempted by a judge.
I didn't see that in the regulations.
That one either.
No, that's not in the regulations.
I don't know about being there, but I know it's happened.
The bottom line is, if you were under the MMAR or under the ACMPR and you committed trafficking or importation, you're out, and you can't apply to personal protection.
Were convicted.
Convicted.
Yeah.
Yes. Which means pleading guilty, whatever.
Yeah. Or being found guilty.
Same thing. But yeah, so if I can give a piece of advice to anybody who's an injunction, MMAR injunction, or an ACMPR personal production person, here's a little piece of advice for you. Do not plead guilty.
Never. It doesn't matter what you're charged with. Don't plead guilty.
Don't plead guilty. And you know, if they're going to convict you of something, stand by your medical guns and make them prove it in a court of law, just like they should have to.
Yeah. Tell the prosecutor you want to, if you're charged with the cannabis offense, tell the prosecutor you want to be able to question the victims.
That's a good one too. Yeah, yeah, because you're going to put yourself on the stand because you're the victim, right?
Because you're the real victim.
Yes, here you are using a medicine that you've been legally prescribed, and you tried to help somebody else out of the goodness of your heart, with no malice aforethought, and now you're being victimized by the court system. So yes, there is a victim, and it's you.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
So don't be a victim. Don't be victimized, and don't be
the victim.
Yeah.
Ba-boom.
Yeah.
Isn't society the victim in their eyes?
Yeah, but
yeah. That's so easy to scapegoat.
Right. So then my response would be, prove it.
Yeah.
Prove to me that society's a victim in what I was doing when this has been rampant in society long before there was a law.
Yep. And Your Honor, I'd like to call society to the stand, please.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if they'll all fit.
Yeah. Who would you like to represent society?
Well, that's when they would probably get an officer in here to give his opinion.
Oh yeah, that goes over well.
Can I just mention one other thing that I meant to mention on last week's show? Another Supreme Court ruling was handed down a couple of weeks ago about that very thing, about the testimony of an officer in the case of an impaired driving charge for cannabis specifically. If that officer decided that you were impaired by cannabis, that his testimony is accepted as expert testimony. And that was affirmed by the Supreme Court of Canada, who said that's allowed, and their testimony is considered expert testimony.
Really?
I guess they didn't listen to the Allard case.
Well, this is about impaired driving, right? This is about impaired driving, and they have these people who are so-called impairment specialists who testify in court and say, yes, this person was, he had dilated pupils and he couldn't stand on one leg, and all this stuff, right? And that's the whole case that went all the way to the Supreme Court was about whether or not that person was an expert or not, and the Supreme Court has decided that he is.
So would that be the DREs?
Yeah.
The drug recognition experts that they use that are supposed to be able to distinguish 250 different drugs.
In the ruling, which I read, it didn't actually specify a DRE. It just said that a law enforcement official or officer in testifying in court as an expert witness on impairment that testimony is considered that of an expert witness. And they didn't say whether or not they were a drug recognition expert or impairment expert or whatever, just that they were a law enforcement officer. That's expert testimony.
Someone fresh out of the academy.
Agreed to that?
Yeah, the Supreme Court said that yes, they can accept that as expert testimony. Now, what makes them an expert on cannabis impairment when they personally have probably never inhaled cannabis in their life?
Oh yeah, right. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Well, even whether they have or not, if they have, then it's even worse because they know you're not impaired.
That's right. And there's no experts. I've met these guys.
Yeah, I know.
The long and short of it is, if you pull up,
let's. I don't know if anybody has the list. I've seen it circulate across Facebook a few times about the people, the politicians that have been out there, or the cops or the lawyers that are all now part of the LPs.
Yep.
They're involved some way, shape, or form. Like what's the news was Daryl Dexter.
Yeah.
The old premier of Nova Scotia now. He's now a cannabis lobbyist.
Yeah, there's a former prime minister got involved.
Yeah, I mean,
Turner.
They don't have a freaking clue what they don't know about it at all. They're talking about money and regulations. That's all they care about.
You know what?
That's all they know.
You know what, guys? The long and short of it is when you're driving down the street and you're using cannabis or you've got it in the car and you pull up onto a ride or just get pulled over for whatever reason by a cop who's having a bad day and hasn't had enough of his quota that day, they're going to pinch you, and
Yeah.
it's going to hurt.
And he hasn't
there's
had a
got-
cigarette for 2 hours.
there's
and he
gotta
hasn't
be
had
a
cup of
way.
Coffee since this morning.
There's got to
And
be a
life's
way
still
that
gonna
we
go
can.
downhill from there for him.
And all of his withdrawal is really getting to him, and he's really pissed at you.
Well, if you know your rights, and you're willing to stand for your rights, then you're usually going to get out of it. But the minute you turn on the mouth or the sarcasm, you're in trouble. You know.
Yeah, but should it be that way? I mean,
No,
should
it shouldn't be that way at all. I'm
because
terrified.
You were a little snooty with them because they were a little snooty with
Exactly.
you. Now
And
they're
I'm-
going to turn around and give their expert testimony in court about how impaired you were.
I am in no way impaired when I am behind the wheel, but every time I'm behind the wheel, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what this.
That
all
makes me more nervous to hear. Well, not really, because I don't walk on the roads where you live. So
I pulled up that article on that that court case. Yeah. I see it wasn't unanimous either. It's a 5-2 decision.
Yeah.
And it had to do with a guy who was busted for consuming cannabis while he was driving.
Yep, that's right.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. And it is the DREs.
It is a DRE.
Was he licensed? Was the driver licensed?
It just says here he admitted to smoking marijuana.
Okay. Well, would it
He was originally acquitted of the charge.
would it matter? Would it have mattered if he had a certificate?
No.
I don't think so.
Actually, according to the drug recognition expert that I met, yes.
Really?
Well, okay. Well, wait a minute. What if you've got a legal prescription for, I don't know, morphine and OxyContin, and you've taken handfuls of it, and you're driving, and you're impaired on your legally prescribed opiates? Are you impaired?
Yeah, but the question goes back to the definition of impairment, and that, of course, is again on the onus on the officer that's doing it.
Right.
But when I met the drug recognition officer, I talked with him for an hour, and then he told me that he had gone to all these courses and was an expert in drug recognition. And I said, "Oh, cool. What drug am I been using?" Because I was well medicated before I went to see him.
You were basically high on cannabis the whole time, right?
The entire time.
Yeah.
And then when I explained,
he had no clue. He had no clue.
He had no idea. So
You know
then
what?
I said, when it comes to impairment, I said, how do you define impairment? Oh, well, we have roadside tests that we do. I said, great. I use cannabis and I have multiple sclerosis. I'm automatically going to fail your test. Oh, well, in a case like that, because of medical conditions, we have allowances. I said, yes, I bet you do. But I think more than anything, he was embarrassed the fact that I admitted that I was high as a kite. And
let's
he
face
couldn't
it,
tell.
The way it ends up in a drug recognition expert's hands is first you go through a ride check or you get pulled over for speeding. And then you just happen to be smoking a joint or smoked a joint recently or whatever, and you roll down your window, they stick their head in and they go, I smell marijuana. Right? Okay, that's where it all starts. Right there, right away, they've got a preconceived notion that you're impaired. Now they're going to call the DRE to come in there and confirm what they think.
Well,
whether you are or
this
not.
guy in for the DRE.
I don't know if I'm gonna have enough weed for Dr. Dre.
Drug net recognition expert, Sarah Saito.
That's funny.
But yeah, so it's really confirmation bias.
Yeah, we need more. We need more, eh, Chris? Much more.
just
I think I'm going to have to reload my pipe. Are we going to a break here so I can reload my pipe?
We're almost done, dude.
The whole problem with that
Oh, it's done? Okay.
Almost.
The whole problem with that ruling is the comment that was made earlier. If the cop's having a bad day,
yeah,
and a cop has a bad day and decides, oh, well, I don't like you, so I'm nailing you for impaired under cannabis.
Funny.
I'm a drug expert, so
you're
guilty.
smelling funny. You don't smell like cologne, you smell like a skunk.
But is that really fair? I mean, because you smell like cannabis, right away they figure
Is
this
there
guy's
not-
impaired, and now I'm going to prove it.
Is there not a court precedence against using smell? Like you cannot
The
arrest
smell
somebody?
of pot is no longer probable cause for a search. That's
Thank you.
all.
I did read that one too, yes, which was a good one. So I mean, that must put them in an awkward.
But tell a
position.
cop that. Tell a cop that's just pulled you over at a ride. Tell a cop.
Right.
that.
Access to your vehicle seems to be giving them the right to fucking.
What was that?
What was that? Chris has got somebody talking to him.
Was it
Or
Chris?
Al does.
Or Al.
No, it wasn't me, man. I'm alone.
It's Chris.
All right, somebody at Chris's house.
With a very deep voice.
Yeah.
I heard that.
And it was starting to sound insightful, and I wanted to hear more, Chris.
But I was thinking it might have been like Bill C-51 stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Bill C-51? Remember all the outrage during the election? Oh, Bill C-51, so Trudeau supports it. And then after the election, it was like nobody
Yeah.
ever mentioned Bill C-51 ever again.
Well, it's because we have it. We have to live with it because we're Canadian. We're very apathetic. So
Yeah,
You
we
know.
got it. Was it good for you?
Sorry.
yeah, we'll live
It was
with it.
it was great for me. What I want to do is I want to go around now and ask all those people who made such a big deal out of it, how has Bill C-51 affected you personally?
I just have one thing to say before we leave.
What?
Sorry.
Sorry for everybody we've offended again.
Are we offending people again? God damn it! No, I think we're pretty much offending the cops.
Yeah,
This
I
Friday.
think we've offended the cops this week.
Yeah. So, which I think is probably it's their turn. I would say at least.
So, in my defense, remember again, if you're a listening officer, all of the opinions on
that was
this
him. The deep voice we heard, I think, was him.
all
That's
of the opinions expressed on this show are the sole responsibility of Ross Middleton from BMA Hydroponics.
Do you want the phone number?
Hit him up in
Oh, wait a minute.
Ontario.
They already know the phone number. What am I saying? You know what? If they're looking over my shoulder, I don't even want to tell you what they're seeing because they don't want to see that. Trust me.
No, they probably don't.
I don't want to see it. Would
Yeah.
you? I mean, really? I mean, you want to look over people's shoulders. You realize when you do that, you've got to watch what they're doing.
Gentlemen.
You might not like it.
It is that time of the day.
Speaking of not liking it,
Not liking what? What are you not liking?
looking over people's shoulders and that time of day and Fridays, bad Friday and Good Friday.
It's that time of the day right now.
But now you know the cycle for the Friday, so you're cool on that.
Yeah.
I am, yeah. So, I've had my bad Friday. Next week, it'll be Good Friday, and I'm going to have some
Do
fun
you-
down at
do you-
Canada Days, and then we're going to have a hell of
Do
a
you
show.
feel better, Ross?
I do. I
Well-
feel like I've vented. It's like I've got my chi back.
Good. Thanks for listening to the Ross Middleton Show.
Okay, I'll STF you now.
I don't know what we got going on next week. Oh, yes, I do. Al, tell people again what we got going on next week.
Next Friday, we'll be at Canada Days in Campbellford for the grand opening, and hopefully we'll be talking to some dignitaries and arranging some interviews and talking to the customers that are coming into the store.
What time are we starting?
Grand opening is at 10 o'clock.
Aw, man.
I know, that's what I said.
In the
Joe.
morning?
Fuck,
Yeah.
Al.
I got to roll in around noonish. If that's
Yeah, I
okay.
think I'll roll in around noon.
I asked him today, when's the dignitaries coming? And he
When
says,
are- yeah.
they asked for them to be here at 10.
Oh,
really? Okay, I'll be there at 10.
You think the dignitaries are going to come?
We hope so.
I hope so too. I'd like.
Have they said they're coming?
I can tell you this. I know that our mayor has posted that he's looking forward to it.
Oh, good. Well, that's cool.
And, our mayor has been in the news a lot lately over the nano knife, cancer surgery for pancreatic cancer.
Awesome.
Why?
Yeah. So
Why
he's
has
been
he been
fighting
in
the
the news?
Ontario government for a while now. He eventually went over to Germany, got the surgery done, and now the Ontario government has agreed to do a 3-year study.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. He's been making a lot of noise, been on a lot of press country. So It's he was going to run for an MPP in order to make change, but it looks like he's been able to do that without having to go through the political end of becoming an MPP.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Politician that's doing good.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah.
He's sent a few over to Germany, so okay, I'll be quiet.
We'll
It's
be talking
nice
with a
to
lot
see
of
people making the
different
right
people.
choices.
That's right.
And you have some other people coming as well.
I have other people coming as well.
Do you?
Well, there's hopefully the MP shows up. Kim Rudd, she's a liberal. We'll be able to talk to her about cannabis legalization.
Awesome.
And I know in the past I have talked to her, so it's a good possibility that as long as the schedule allows it, I don't think she would be she would shy away from the issue. She would be there.
Well, I guess we'll find out, won't we?
That's right. We'll find out. And I want to. I'm going to be arranging some guests to call in.
Oh, you are you?
Yeah, I want to. Maybe.
That's a lot of work for me, Al.
Huh?
That's a lot of work for me.
I'm sorry.
You're the man behind the baggie.
Behind the baggie.
That's what I always say. I'm the man behind the baggie.
Yeah, man behind the baggie.
Yep.
And when I'm getting you to work hard, I'm working hard too.
There you go.
And hopefully nobody's going to fall into the baggie and not be able to get back out.
Dude, I fell into the baggie like an hour ago. But on that note, anything anybody else wants to say before I pull the trigger on this baby?
I got nothing good to say, so no. It's still a bad Friday.
Next Wednesday for the Pace Radio Show, our first interview on Joint Toast by Alicia Yashishin.
Oh, yes.
Yes, she will be appearing for the first time as a Joint Toast on Wednesday night, 8 o'clock.
Oh, cool. Congratulations.
Awesome. Yep. I haven't got a name, but I know that she was working on a lawyer.
Oh, awesome.
Cool.
So
yeah, I gotta work on getting Jack on again, and I'm also going to work on getting Kurt on.
Yeah,
before he
maybe
gets
both
so
of
busy.
those guys at the same time.
Well, that's what I mean. I'd like to have them both on at the same time before they both get too fucking busy.
Oh, they're always busy.
No,
Anyway,
but it's going to get worse.
They're going to have to just make time for us.
It's going to get worse. Well, I mean, Kurt has already said just call the office and book an appointment. So,
well,
yeah.
I happen to know where you can get that number.
Book it.
Yeah.
Get it booked.
Oh, I will.
Why isn't this done yet?
Because nobody's called yet.
Yeah, Dano.
Are you doing it now?
Yeah, we'll call right now.
Let's
Let's call
now,
his
aren't
office
you?
right now. They're still open. They're out west.
Okay, get on that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 6 o'clock.
It's 6 o'clock. Yeah, they're probably
they're closed now. Yeah,
they've probably been closed like since noon. So
see, we should have done this at the beginning of the show when they were listening.
When who was listening?
Their law office.
Oh, the law.
Sure, they listen to our show.
Oh, they probably turn it on. Yeah, while they're dealing with clients and
doing law stuff.
Yeah. Well, they learn a lot of law from us. So
yeah,
doing law stuff. I like that technical
law stuff.
Yeah, law stuff.
Yes, I enjoyed doing law stuff when I was younger.
Anywho,
time to water the plants.
Time to go. I was just going to say that it's time for us to go water our plants.
It is.
So we'll say good night.
Peace out.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night. Peace, love, and happy shit.
There you go. Now we can go because Chris has said it.
Yep, he finally said it again.
Tune into the Pace Radio Show and catch Kim Cooper, Debbie Stoll-Skiffen, or Allison Murden, along with myself, Al Graham, as we talk to Canadian and international cannabis advocates who are working hard to help patients and to end cannabis prohibition. Catch us live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at lifestyleradio.ca.
You're listening to Lifestyle Radio.
So what are you doing? Nothing. Why not?
Trying to get on this Lifestyle Radio website.
Sounds like a cool website.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh,